Good afternoon. I want to introduce you to a couple of different tools we have today. A few are brand new. Two types of wire that we will be using that are common throughout your house. And I also want to introduce you to the cut, strip, bend process. First, I'll introduce you to a new hand tool. It's called a wire stripper. I have 4 different variations of wire strippers here. They are all by the Klein company. Things in common with these wire strippers. This pair here. The ends here have a place to grip wire. You have a place to strip wire of various sizes. There is a loop here for bending wire. This section and this section here are both for crimping, different types of crimping. There's also an embedded wire cutter in them. This pair is my favorite pair because it also has the additional wire strippers for the outside insulation of the wire. Another tool to introduce you to, well, ones you're familiar with, correction, is first the needle nose pliers or the long nose pliers. Also the lineman plier, which is also sometimes called the side cutter because the cutting edge is right along the side of it. And here's another new tool. These are called diagonal cutters. Sometimes they call them wire cutters, but they're diagonal cutters. If you look at the cutting edge, it's set at an angle. The two most common tools that electricians use are the lineman pliers and the wire strippers. It would be to your benefit to buy the nicest pair you can afford because these are your livelihood and these are what you use all day long. Now let me introduce you to 2 different wire sizes. First one is probably the most common wire in your house. It's one of 2 sizes. This particular wire is called a 14-2 with a ground. The 14 refers to the diameter size of the actual wire. 2 refers to the number of wires and a ground. We have a black wire, a white wire, and a ground wire, which happens to be bare in this case. The black wire is your hot wire. That's where the power comes in. The white wire is always your neutral wire, so where the wire loops back around. And the bare wire is always ground. Sometimes the ground wire has a green insulation on it. And if it's bare or green, it's always ground. Another wire for you to look at, we call this one a 14-3 with a ground. I have my original black hot wire, white neutral wire. Now we introduce an additional red hot wire that goes with the black. So power comes in both those lines, loops back through the neutral, and we have our additional ground. This is a 14-3 with a ground. We use this in 3-way lights. We use this in multiple switches. We use this in multiple places where we have a series of powers running to different things like a ceiling fan and power running to a light. You would use wire like this. Now, cut, strip, bend. When you buy a wire, it comes like this. Insulation's all closed up on it. You've got 2 layers of insulation. You've got the insulation on the outside casing, and you've got the insulation around each wire. I like this pair because it has both pieces bit into it. I'll look at the appropriate size, 14 gauge, 12 gauge, which are your 2 most common sizes. I pick off where I want to bite. I cut, and there's my strip. There is a little bit of internal insulation. I like to use the end of the pliers and just give it a quick pull and do away with it. Now I have my wires. The bare wire is already bare, doesn't need any more stripping. I find the size I want, which is 14, come down 3/8 of an inch, give a little cut, pull to strip. Now I have to bend. I can either use the end, take a little bite, make a simple little horseshoe, or I can use the little loop that's right here. Poke the wire in the loop, give it a little bend over, and I have my loops. Most of the time where we do this is we end up bending the ground wire to attach to a ground, and we use these on receptacles. When we hook receptacles up, we always bend them behind the set screws. Now, it is your turn to video you doing the cut, strip, bend process and explaining to me what you were doing and why you were doing it. And turn it in. Thank you.